In the night for a star. It's quiet. Too much for noise to go on. The light is there. I was really happy that a lot of people, and people I didn't even know, complimented the dialogue in D vs M 1975. Um, which meant a lot to me because I care about dialogue. I care about natural or authentic sounding dialogue. I had a few people ask, like, other writers say, what, how, what's, do you have any tips? And I think the only one, it's very lame. But it works for me. Like I read a lot of it out loud over and over. It's almost like an acting exercise. Like say it like how you think, and just see how it sounds when you say it out loud. And if it doesn't sound right, like how would you say it? What sounds right? I mean, I sort of edit as I go. I try not to do that too much because it slows you way down. And I think that's why I didn't finish a lot of writing projects I started like in high school and in college because I was too precious about it. Like I was editing as I was going and making every sentence sort of perfect. And you'll never finish that way. The other school of thought is like I know George Lucas, his not that he's George Lucas is one of many writers whose argument is you just got to lay track down. Like it doesn't even have to be good. Just like write, and rough out the skeleton of your story, and get it done as fast as you can, and then go back and build everything up and make it pretty and make it work. Um, I think compared to editing as you go, that is the better suggestion, at least for me. But I can't fully do that either. Because the fact is, as I'm writing, I realize that maybe my skeleton is bullshit. Like, that this structure doesn't work. And if you just lay it out like that, like a blueprint, and then start building everything up, as you're building that up, all that stuff you're building on top, it's not like Legos. It's this organic mesh that's kind of it's growing into other parts, and you're building up, you're expanding a blueprint that might be at its heart wrong. I think you have to stress test your story before you get it too far along. I mean, just the guts of it. You have to figure out like, is this working? Is the flow right? And is it like, do I have a clear picture of this? I'd had the outline, a while ago, and I was doing a lot of note taking and just, whenever I'd have inspiration, whenever I had a little idea, I was like, maybe this kind of thing will happen. I would jot that down. But in terms of actually sitting down, it's like, all right, let's write this script for the comic. That was probably about 2 weeks ago. Um, and I might have a very, very rough, mostly unreadable first draft tonight. But it's been a slog. it's been a slog. It's There are a couple things about this I'm finding most difficult. One is the two main characters are female. Um, and I am not. And while I know, like, essentially that makes no difference for what I'm writing, once in a while, I think there needs to be that awareness that, like, this is a woman saying this. This is a woman reacting like this. And how would that be different from a man? And how do two women who are in sort of an antagonistic position, how do two women fuck with each other differently than two men would? Um, so there's that thing that I'm keeping in the back of my head. The other thing is when it comes to this, and I talked about this a lot in the making of 75. Like, look, it's a goofy premise. This idea that the government is using dinosaurs to fight invading extraterrestrials. But then, as I talked about in the videos, like playing that straight, having to come up with why. Why is that the way to go? Why not do it, conventionally? Or if for some reason animals are better in this weird situation, why not canine units? Why not why not grizzly bears? Like why dinosaurs? Like what is and trying. I'm not going to answer all those questions in 75 or God, 97. I keep mixing this up, but I need to at least seed it so when I do get into those answers, it's consistent with what I've done so far. Like it's not contradicting anything. And also thinking about, the Martians are capable and they have, as seen in 75, some shockingly impressive and deadly weaponry. And so, why would animals be a threat? And how would you use them? Um, and I think that's something I'm really trying to work out. This wouldn't be just there are Martians in the area, so we're going to send tyrannosaurs in with parachutes and have them fight. Like that's way too goofy, and it doesn't even make sense. Like why? How would that even? I, I thought early on, like, no, you've got to have the dinosaurs working in conjunction or or concertedly with human forces, where they're just another element on the field. There are humans versus Martians, but the humans have dinosaurs as like a support thing for reasons we'll explain later. And so then thinking like, okay, how would you actually do that? Assuming, like, you see how humans use canines. How would dinosaurs be similar and different? And the problem is, I'm actually trying to do the dinosaurs as realistically as we know based on science as of today, which means they're not like velociraptors in Jurassic Park. They're not unusually intelligent. Like, they're not especially trainable. Like, they're animals. How would you use like a ceratopsian type dinosaur in combat? Like, at what point would you deploy it? What would you have it do? How do you point it in the right direction? How do you? Because it's just a like in talking about a ceratops, it's just like a bull. Like, how are you getting it to attack the enemy and not you? And trying to work all that out, like, how would that actually work? And then there's, and this is farther along, but once I get to the drawing, and a lot of the script so far is just like to figure out later. It's set in 1997. As with 75, I'm trying to get all my details right for the time. Um, What did Special Forces look like in '97? And that's around the era of Black Hawk Down, so like I'm gonna get that movie just to see like how they're equipped and how they move and how they just things like that. But it's all those little things like, but this is the process. It's a lot of staring and rereading and tweaking and trying to get from A to B. You know where it starts, you know where it ends, and just have it work its way to where it ends in a way that's a little surprising. Like you don't want it to be a straight line, but not so surprising that it doesn't make sense how you like it looks like you're course correcting.